Can you imagine a locomotive so powerful, so colossal, that the vibration of the rails alone would announce its arrival minutes before it even came into view? Machines so massive, they required engineering far beyond the standards of their time just to support their own weight. So strong, they could haul hundreds of tons with ease, crossing deserts, climbing mountain passes, and enduring extreme weather, all while riding on two narrow strips of steel. These are not ordinary locomotives. They are rail giants, built with one purpose in mind: to deliver pure mechanical power. Some were so heavy, they were barely usable. Others became living legends, revered to this day by rail fans and mechanical engineers alike. You're about to discover the most extreme locomotives ever built. Some still exist. Others were so absurdly massive, the fact that they were built at all seems to defy logic. So buckle up, because the number one on this list will leave you speechless. MAV 242.001. Our story begins in Hungary in 1936 with a locomotive that felt ahead of its time. The MAV 242.001, built by Mavag, was Hungary's answer to the growing demand for faster, more reliable passenger trains, and a point of national pride. It wasn't just fast, it was refined engineering in motion. Powered by a high-pressure steam engine delivering 2,300 horsepower, it reached speeds of up to 94 miles per hour, 152 kilometers per hour, outpacing many Western locomotives of the era. With 4 cylinders, an uncommon setup, it provided smooth, steady power. This gave the locomotive a quieter, more controlled ride, ideal for long-distance express services. The drivetrain was direct and efficient, built to deliver maximum force with minimal complexity. Reinforced rear wheels and a strong suspension gave it reliable stability at high speeds. Its aerodynamic body, deep blue paint, and silver accents made it visually striking. The enclosed cab and distinctive oval windows gave it a modern, almost futuristic look. Its whistle echoed sharply, followed by the low, confident hum of steam power at full stride. Designed for high-speed passenger service, it reduced travel times without sacrificing comfort. Yet only one unit was ever built, making it as rare as it was advanced. Today, it's preserved as a national treasure, a museum piece that tells the story of Hungarian engineering at its boldest. In its day, it even broke regional speed records, outperforming locomotives from Germany and Italy. But if this machine dazzled with elegance and speed, the next one was built for endurance, made to conquer dry, desolate landscapes where water was nowhere to be found. South African Railways Class 25. Built to face the harsh deserts of South Africa, the Class 25 was introduced in 1953 as one of the most powerful steam locomotives the continent had ever seen. It wasn't designed for speed, but for survival, a machine built to go where few others could. Developed through a collaboration between the North British Locomotive Company and Henschel & Son, it featured a revolutionary condensing tender. This system recycled steam back into water, massively extending its range, crucial in regions where refueling points were few and far between. In the desert, this wasn't just useful, it was essential. The Class 25 ran with a simple expansion engine, powered by 2 massive 23-inch cylinders working at 210 psi. It produced around 4,200 horsepower, enough to haul heavy freight across scorching terrain without pause. Unlike sleek express engines, it was built for endurance and raw pulling force. Its rear driving wheels, supported by a reinforced suspension system, helped keep over 210 tons stable on uneven, heat-warped tracks. The large condensing tender not only boosted range, but gave it a distinctive silhouette, long, low, and formidable. Visually, the Class 25 looked like it meant business. Dark, heavy, and powerful, it rumbled through the desert like a moving factory. Its deep, steady growl was a sound locals came to recognize and respect. It became a symbol of reliability in one of the harshest rail environments on Earth. Some versions were later modified into non-condensing models, but a few of the originals still survive today, occasionally running on heritage lines. In the 1970s, Soviet engineers even studied its condensing system for possible use in extreme cold. A surprising twist that shows just how far its influence reached. But where this desert giant thrived under brutal sun, the next locomotive was a thunderbolt of steel, built to glide at high speed, roaring like a storm across the hills of Virginia. Norfolk and Western's 611. Few locomotives combine power and grace like the Norfolk and Western's 611. Launched in 1950 as part of the iconic Class J series, it was built for speed, reliability, and style, and it delivered on all fronts. Its high-pressure boiler produced an impressive 5,100 horsepower, allowing it to cruise at 87 miles per hour, 140 kilometers per hour, even while pulling a full passenger load. With this performance, it became one of the fastest and most efficient steam locomotives of its time. The 611 ran on 3 cylinders, which helped distribute power smoothly and evenly. Its suspension was tuned for fast, steady travel, letting it glide over the rails with minimal vibration. Passengers often remarked on how smooth the ride felt, a testament to its precision engineering. Visually, it was a masterpiece. A sleek, black body, accented with red striping, a bullet nose, and a bold profile that cut through the wind. Its deep, melodic whistle became legendary, echoing across towns and valleys as it passed. Built in Roanoke, Virginia, the 611 served express routes across the Southeast, where it earned the nickname Queen of Steam. It was a locomotive that didn't just perform well, it inspired awe. After being retired, the 611 was restored and returned to the rails, where it continues to operate today as a moving piece of history. Crowds gather just to watch it thunder by, a living reminder of steam's golden age. During a documentary shoot in the 1980s, the 611 famously had to slow down because the helicopter filming it couldn't keep up. That says it all. Where the 611 balanced speed and elegance, the next locomotive did the opposite, built purely for strength with zero interest in subtlety. Santa Fe 5000. Built in 1930 during the Great Depression, the Santa Fe 5000, known affectionately as Madam Queen, was never meant to turn heads. It was built to work and to work hard. Only one unit was ever produced by Baldwin Locomotive Works, but it packed a serious punch. Powered by 2 massive cylinders and operating at 300 psi, it delivered around 5,600 horsepower, more than enough to haul heavy freight through the tough terrain of New Mexico and Arizona. Its 210-4 wheel configuration gave it exceptional traction, with 10 driving wheels distributing its immense power evenly along the rails. Heavy coil springs helped support a machine weighing over 500,000 pounds, giving it the brute strength needed to tackle mountain grades. Madam Queen had a no-nonsense design, black, exposed, and industrial. It wasn't streamlined or flashy, it looked like raw power, and it performed accordingly. Even fully loaded, it could reach speeds of 68 miles per hour, 110 kilometers per hour. A surprising feat for a locomotive of its size and purpose. Despite its effectiveness, it was never mass-produced, yet its performance earned it legendary status among rail enthusiasts and workers alike. It proved that one engine, properly built, could do the work of many. Today, the Santa Fe 5000 is preserved in Amarillo, Texas. Its nickname, Madam Queen, was inspired by blues singer Gertrude Ma Rainey, adding a bit of unexpected cultural flair to its legacy. It may not have been elegant, but it was unforgettable, a singular powerhouse that did exactly what it was built to do. But if this lone giant carved out its place through sheer force, the next machine was so massive, it nearly defied the laws of rail engineering. Soviet AA-21. Now we head to the Soviet Union in 1934, where engineers dreamed on a scale that defied reason. The Soviet AA-21 remains the largest steam locomotive ever built in Europe, and one of the most over-the-top experiments in rail history. Created by Columna Works, the AA-21 was designed with one goal in mind: to replace multiple locomotives with a single super-powered machine. It featured a massive 3-cylinder engine and a staggering 14 wheel configuration. That's 14 driving wheels, something rarely attempted before or since. It produced roughly 4,000 horsepower, which was impressive, but the size of the boiler was its real standout feature. It was so large that maintenance crews struggled to reach key internal components. The frame stretched so long that the locomotive couldn't handle standard track curves without issue. In fact, during testing, it often derailed unless temporary reinforcement rails were added to the track. Weighing over 260 tons, the AA-21 looked like a steel centipede, long, heavy, and almost alien in design. It was loud, awkward, and incredibly difficult to operate. The locomotive's size created logistical problems at nearly every turn, from station platforms to switching yards. In practice, the AA-21 proved too impractical to succeed. After limited trials and growing operational concerns, it was quietly retired and eventually dismantled. Still, it left behind a powerful legacy, not of success, but of ambition. To this day, the AA-21 is remembered more as a symbol of Soviet engineering extremism than a practical machine. But it continues to fascinate historians and rail fans alike for its sheer scale and audacity. If you've made it this far, you're clearly into these incredible machines, and we've got plenty more coming. So, if you're enjoying the ride, hit that like button to let the algorithm know, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. We're just getting to the heavy hitters, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's next. And if this steel monster pushed size to the limits, the next machine had a very different mission: to fight through walls of snow that buried entire rail lines. Union Pacific Rotary Snowplow. Meet the Union Pacific Rotary Snowplow, a machine that doesn't haul cargo, but instead destroys walls of snow standing in the way of the rails. Originally developed in the late 1800s, by the mid-20th century, it had evolved into one of the most fearsome winter machines in rail history. Unlike a typical locomotive, the rotary plow doesn't move on its own. It's pushed by another engine, but at its front sits a massive steel blade powered by its own diesel engine, usually a 6-cylinder unit, producing up to 2,000 horsepower. That front blade spins like a turbine, slicing through snowbanks more than 10 feet high and blasting snow clear of the track. It doesn't just push snow aside, it pulverizes and hurls it away, clearing blocked routes that would otherwise stay closed for weeks. The body is built from armored steel, weighing around 135 tons. Reinforced suspension and frame components allow it to handle steep mountain grades and packed snow with ease. It was primarily used in the Rocky Mountains, where blizzards could bury entire trains overnight. The sound it made was unforgettable. The roar of the diesel engine paired with the high-pitched scream of metal blades tearing into ice. From a distance, it sounded almost like an aircraft taking off. Even today, a few rotary snowplows remain on standby for emergencies. In 2011, during a record-breaking Wyoming blizzard, one was pulled from retirement, and it cleared the line without missing a beat. It's not elegant, it's not fast, but when winter shuts everything down, this is the machine that clears the way forward. And if cutting through snow is one kind of power, the next locomotive combined brute strength and high-speed performance in one of the most balanced designs ever made. Union Pacific Challenger 3985. Built in 1943 by the American Locomotive Company, the Union Pacific Challenger 3985 was a masterclass in combining raw power with consistent performance. For years, it held the title of the largest operating steam locomotive in the world. Part of the Challenger class, it was designed specifically to handle steep mountain grades in the American West. Its articulated 4664 wheel arrangement gave it flexibility and strength, allowing it to navigate tight curves while pulling long freight trains uphill. With 4 cylinders working across 2 drive sets, the 3985 produced more than 5,600 horsepower. It could maintain speeds of up to 68 miles per hour, 110 kilometers per hour, while hauling massive loads, a feat that few steam locomotives could match, even decades later. Weighing nearly 270 tons, the Challenger needed a robust suspension system to manage the stress of constant, heavy-duty work. It was engineered not just for power, but for durability, and it became a dependable part of Union Pacific's freight operations for decades. Visually, the 3985 was striking, painted in classic black with chrome details. It towered over workers and passengers alike. Its exhaust beat was deep and rhythmic, echoing like thunder through the canyons and valleys of the West. After retirement, the Challenger was restored in the 1980s, and used for special excursion runs. Rail fans would travel miles just to see it in motion, a living monument to the age of steam. On one famous run, it covered over 1,200 miles in a single week without a single mechanical failure, a testament to its flawless design. But even with all that power, it still wasn't the biggest. That title belongs to a machine so massive it became a legend, and it's next on the list. Allegheny H8. If there's one steam locomotive that defines raw American power, it's the Allegheny H8. Built in 1941 by Lima Locomotive Works for the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway, it wasn't just a machine. It was a mountain of moving steel, built to dominate the unforgiving grades of the Appalachian Mountains. With 7,500 horsepower and a 2666 articulated configuration, the H8 was designed to haul some of the heaviest coal trays ever assembled. It didn't just pull them, it did so with ease, even on steep, winding tracks that brought lesser engines to a crawl. Its four-cylinder layout and mechanical valve gear required constant attention, but the payoff was unmatched hauling performance. The locomotive's weight, including the tender, topped 850,000 pounds, or 386 tons, placing enormous stress on the tracks beneath it. Just the tender alone carried 25,000 gallons of water and 70 tons of coal. Refueling stops were few and far between. This locomotive was built for endurance. Despite its size, it could reach 60 miles per hour, 96 kilometers per hour, which made it fast enough for wartime freight schedules. Visually, the Allegheny looked like a wall of black steel in motion. The roar of its exhaust and the pounding of its pistons made it sound more like a factory than a train. When it passed, the ground shook, literally. The H8 replaced multiple smaller engines on long-haul routes, cutting operating costs and increasing efficiency. Only 2 units survive today. One of them, number 1601, is fully preserved and on display at the Henry Ford Museum in Michigan, where it continues to impress visitors with its scale and presence. So powerful was the Allegheny that track inspections were required after many of its runs, just to check for damage caused by its weight. Still think 7,500 horsepower is the peak? Think again. The next locomotive shattered that number and did it with diesel. EMD DDA-40X Centennial. Built to celebrate 100 years of the Transcontinental Railroad, the EMD DDA-40X, better known as the Centennial, was introduced in 1969 by Electromotive Division of General Motors. And it didn't just celebrate history, it made it. The DDA-40X is the largest and most powerful diesel-electric locomotive ever built. It delivered a staggering 6,600 horsepower, thanks to 2 V16 diesel engines mounted inside a single extended frame. Each engine powered one half of the locomotive, effectively making it 2 locomotives in one. With 8 axles and an advanced electrical transmission system, it offered smooth power delivery and excellent traction. Despite its size, it could reach speeds of up to 90 miles per hour, 145 kilometers per hour, making it both powerful and fast, ideal for long-distance freight on flat terrain. Weighing around 270 tons, the Centennial looked like a rolling wall of metal. Painted in Union Pacific's bold yellow and red livery, it was impossible to miss. Its deep, low-pitched rumble was unmistakable, a sound that signaled serious freight was on the move. In service, it handled high-priority cargo routes across the vast American West. It proved so reliable that several units remained in active use well into the 1980s. Far beyond their original life expectancy. One unexpected twist? NASA once used a DDA-40X frame for vibration testing due to its strength and durability, showing its value extended even beyond railroading. While dozens were built, only a handful survive today, most of them in museums. Even in retirement, the Centennial remains a legend, not just for its size, but for what it represented. But even this record-breaking diesel couldn't claim the title of the biggest. That honor belongs to the final locomotive on our list, the undisputed king of steam. Union Pacific Big Boy. No list of legendary locomotives is complete without the Union Pacific Big Boy. Unveiled in 1941 and built by American Locomotive Company, ALCO, the Big Boy was created for one reason: to haul enormous freight loads over the Rocky Mountains without the need for helper engines. And it delivered. Its massive 4884 configuration and 4 high-pressure cylinders produced about 7,000 horsepower. Fully loaded, it weighed more than 1.2 million pounds, 548 tons, including the tender, making it the largest steam locomotive ever built. Its articulated design allowed it to handle tight curves, while its huge frame provided unmatched traction. Despite its size, the big boy could hit 80 miles per hour, 130 kilometers per hour, an incredible speed for a machine of its scale. Measuring over 132 feet in length, it towered over platforms and structures. Its black paint, gleaming metal details, and the iconic 4014 number plate gave it an imposing presence. The sound of its whistle and rhythmic exhaust became icons of American rail power. Only 25 units were built, and most were retired by the late 1950s. But in 2019, Union Pacific completed a full restoration of number 4014, bringing the big boy back to life as the largest operating steam locomotive in the world. During World War II, these giants moved tanks, supplies, and troops across the country, running non-stop for thousands of miles each month. They were more than machines, they were wartime workhorses. Today, the big boy remains a symbol of American strength, engineering ambition, and industrial legacy. Seeing one in motion is more than watching a train, it's witnessing history roll by. From steam to diesel, from snow-covered mountains to sun-scorched deserts, these weren't just locomotives, they were iron giants. Built to face the impossible, they moved nations, powered economies, and left a legacy that still sparks awe today. They were machines born from need, but transformed into icons of power, ingenuity, and determination. So tell me, which one of these locomotives would you love to see in action? Which surprised you the most? And if you could bring one back to life, which one would you choose? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I'll be reading them. And hey, if you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell. That helps YouTube share these stories with more people, and we've got even more incredible machines coming your way. See you in the next video.